Traffic hummed along the crowded city street as the sleek black limousine came to a halt. Its polished body gleamed under the afternoon sun. The door opened and the man who emerged carried an air of quiet authority. Every step he took resonated with confidence. A small crowd of onlookers parted instinctively to make way for his arrival. Just beyond the curb squatted a figure wrapped in tattered blankets. The woman's face bore the lines of a lifetime of hardship. Her hair, matted and unkempt, framed eyes that had seen more sorrow than anyone should at her age. She huddled into herself, holding a battered paper cup, its contents long since vanished. It was only curiosity and a fleeting impulse that brought the limousine to a stop at her side. He approached her without announcement. She looked up, startled, her eyes wary. He paused, meeting her gaze with a steady calm. He knelt to bring himself level with her. There was no audience now, only the two of them on that stretch of pavement. "You're my mother," he said softly. Words hung in the air, incomprehensible at first. She blinked, her fingers tightening around the rim of the cup. Her voice came out a croak. "What are you talking about? I know it's a lot to take in. I know it sounds impossible, but a recent DNA test confirmed it. You're my mother." She shook her head frantically, tears gathering at the corners of her eyes. No, you've got the wrong person." He held up a slim envelope and slid it toward her. "Open it, Ort." After a moment's hesitation, she pried it open. Inside lay photographs. A faded snapshot of a younger version of herself, standing in a hospital corridor clutching a newborn baby. The date handwritten on the back matched the moment his life had begun. Next to it, a photo of her today, older, worn, but unmistakable in resemblance. And there was Hemi's the same, nose the same, that same stubborn set of his jaw. She stared, disbelief etched into every wrinkle. He waited in silence, offering her space to process. Finally she whispered, "I don't understand." She closed her eyes, as if willing the vision away. But when she opened them, she saw the truth lingering at the edge of her vision. "All my life I didn't know who my mother was," he said. "I grew up in foster homes, moved from one family to another. I always felt like a piece was missing. I spent years and thousands of dollars trying to find her, and now the truth is here, standing in front of me." She shook her head again, tears now spilling freely down her cheeks. He reached out, gently brushing a stray lock of hair from her face. "It's okay to cry," he said. "You don't have to be strong for me anymore." Her shoulders trembled as she leaned into him. She let the tears fall. The crowd that had gathered at a safe distance whispered among themselves, but neither of them noticed. He stood and offered her his arm. She took it hesitantly. He guided her to the open door of the limousine. The familiar sound of traffic, distant and insistent, became a faint murmur as they settled inside. The leather seats enveloped them in an unexpected warmth. He handed her a plush blanket from the back compartment. She wrapped it around herself, drawing comfort from its softness. He held the sliding partition open between the driver and them. "Take us to the clinic on 5th Avenue, he said to the driver. They drove through the city, skyscrapers soaring above like silent sentinels. The woman sat quietly, her mind racing. He glanced at her, offering a small, reassuring smile. "Why now?" she whispered. "I got the results this morning. I wanted to meet you in person before anyone else did." A silence stretched between them, filled only by the hum of the engine at the clinic. They waited together in a small, sterile exam room. The nurse arrived shortly, carrying a thick folder of medical records. The man took the folder and scanned through it, then handed copies to the woman. There were legal documents showing that a nurse had picked him up after he was abandoned at the hospital door. A note in the file bore her signature, proof that she had taken her baby, and later, circumstances forced her to relinquish him. She looked up, voice cracking. "I gave you up. You gave me life," he said. "You kept me safe for as long as you could." She bowed her head, wiping her tears. "I thought I was protecting you." "You did." They spoke for hours. She told him about the darkness that followed her toxic relationship, losing her job, her health failing. She couldn't care for a baby while trying to survive herself. The memory pained her, but she spoke with the honesty of a woman unburdening. A lifetime of guilt. He listened, his heart aching to know every detail. He asked about the times she must have cried herself to sleep, the nights she wondered if he'd made it. She confessed she never spoke of him, kept his pictures hidden away so she wouldn't break down in front of strangers. "I never stopped thinking about you," she said. "Not for a day." When they left the clinic, dusk had settled. The city lights flickered on, casting long shadows. He hailed a cab and they rode in silence. At her request, he stopped near a modest building on a quiet street. It looked nothing like the towering condos he was used to. "This is where I live," she said. He stepped out with her. The door opened onto a cramped hallway that smelled faintly of stale smoke. She led him up a flight of stairs to a small apartment door. Inside, the rooms were sparsely furnished, but every surface bore the mark of her determination. Bookshelves crammed with well-worn volumes, a small desk with a flickering lamp, photographs of her younger self and moments of happiness long past. He set down the folder on the kitchen table. He opened his phone and called his personal assistant. "I want to renovate a new home for my mother. She deserves better than this." There was silence on the other end. Then, "Absolutely, sir. What's your budget?" Whatever it takes, he replied. I don't want her to lift a finger. He ended the call and turned back to her. He placed a hand gently on her shoulder. You're going to move into a new place. We'll find the perfect home, close to the park you love. She laughed, a sound rusty from disuse but bright nonetheless. I don't deserve this, you do. Over the next weeks, he oversaw every detail. A spacious apartment with sunlight flooding through, large windows, a garden view, a kitchen stocked with appliances she'd never dreamed she'd own. He hired a team to handle the renovation, personally approving every element down to the cushions on the sofa. Every morning he called to check on her. She'd send him photos of the painting she'd chosen for the living room, or ask which flowers to plant on the balcony. He guided her gently, ensuring she felt in control of her life again. Her health improved. She began to cook meals she hadn't made in years. She bought flowers for her table and set them in a vase. One afternoon, she knocked on his office door. He looked up from the papers scattered across his desk. I learned you loved jazz music, she said, holding a CD. I bought this for you. He chuckled, standing to take it from her. She handed it over like a precious offering. You remember always. He placed the CD in his player, and soft melodies filled the room. She sat in the chair across from his desk, watching him, tears in her eyes once more. Thank you, she said. For what? For finding me. He closed his eyes and took a deep breath. For giving me everything. Their lives intertwined once more after decades apart. He introduced her to friends and family, who welcomed her with open arms. They celebrated birthdays together, shared holidays, and created new memories on weekends spent exploring the city. Every milestone was sweeter because they had waited so long to share it. And though the past could never be erased, they walked forward side by side, rewriting the story that separated them for so many years.